Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Picture this. You're sitting at your desk, sipping your morning coffee, and just staring at a screen.
Right, the usual morning routine.
Exactly. And for years now, we've all gotten incredibly used to artificial intelligence being this hyper-competent assistant. You log into a dashboard, and it flags a trend for you.
Or maybe a recommendation engine suggests what a client might want.
Yeah, or a fraud detection system highlights a suspicious transaction. It processes data, it gives you advice, and then it waits.
It literally sits there waiting for you.
Waiting for the human to actually do something about it. But I want you to ask yourself, what happens when the AI stops just giving you advice and actually starts taking action on its own?
What happens when it stops waiting for you to click approve?
Yes, and that is the core of our mission today. We are pulling from a fascinating March 9, 2026 article published in the AI World Journal by Sydney Armani.
It's a fantastic piece.
It really is. It's titled Architecting the AI Agent-First Organization. And today, we're going to explore what Armani argues is the most profound enterprise shift since the invention of cloud computing. We're breaking down the rise of the AI agent-first organization, meaning a company built entirely from AI rather than a company that merely uses it.
To really grasp the magnitude of this, we have to look at the limitations of the previous paradigm. Like you noted, early enterprise AI was essentially an oracle.
Right.
It was brilliant at pattern recognition and prediction, but there was always a critical bottleneck, and that bottleneck was us.
The human element.
Exactly. The system would produce a valuable insight, but a human still had to interpret that data, log into 3 different software platforms, make a decision, and physically execute the action.
Which takes time.
It takes a lot of time. The paradigm shift today is that AI agents close that loop. They bridge the gap between perception and action completely autonomously.
Okay, let's unpack this, because going from a static dashboard that says, sales are down in the Midwest to an autonomous entity that actually designs, funds, and launches a targeted ad campaign to fix the problem, that is a massive leap. How are these agents mechanically doing this?
Well, it comes down to a convergence of technologies that we've been building for the last decade. Modern agents are powered by a combination of large language models, or LLMs, computer vision, and robotic process automation.
RPA.
Right, RPA. You can think of it as giving the AI a brain, eyes, and hands. First, they perceive data. They aren't just reading a single isolated spreadsheet anymore. They're pulling context from disparate systems.
So they're looking everywhere at once.
Exactly. They look at the company's CRM to understand customer history. They check the ERP, which is essentially the company's central nervous system for finance and inventory. And they read live email feeds and real-time market data through APIs.
APIs being those digital bridges between software.
Yes. So they have a holistic view of the company at any given second.
Which is incredible.
It is. Then they reason about complex goals and constraints, much like a human project manager would evaluate a situation with competing priorities. And finally, they take decisive actions through software interfaces.
Meaning they actually do work.
They do the work. They draft and send emails, update databases, place supply orders, or even write and deploy new code to a live environment. And crucially, they continuously learn from the outcomes of those actions.
Let's make this super concrete for you listening, because Armani provides a really illuminating example regarding a standard customer complaint. If you think about the legacy model most of us are used to, an angry email creates a support ticket.
We've all been there.
Right. That ticket goes to a human triage desk, sits there for a few hours, gets routed to a specialist, sits there again, and maybe a day later someone figures out what went wrong and issues a refund. It's slow and it's resource heavy. How does the agent-first architecture handle that exact same email?
It replaces that linear human assembly line with an orchestra of specialized agents. In Armani's model, the second that email hits the inbox, a customer intake agent perceives it. Immediately, it hands the text off to a sentiment analysis agent to gauge the legal or reputational urgency.
So it's asking, is this customer just slightly annoyed about a late delivery, or are they threatening to go to the press?
Exactly. And that dictation of urgency happens in milliseconds.
Milliseconds.
That's wild. Based on that urgency score, a knowledge retrieval agent instantly scans the company's entire historical database to find the right policy solution. It passes that solution to a drafting agent, which writes a highly personalized, empathetic response.
Empathy from an agent, right?
Simulated empathy, but highly effective. Simultaneously, a CRM agent logs the entire interaction, issues the refund through the payment gateway, and sets a reminder to follow up in a week. The entire process, from receiving the complaint to resolving the issue and updating the financial ledger, happens in seconds. What's fascinating here is how decisively this moves us away from human-centric workflows to agent-orchestrated operations.
Yeah, it completely flips the script.
It does. The workflow is no longer a human assembly line where AI is handed out as a tool. The workflow is the AI. The fundamental question of management changes. Historically, business leaders asked, what should we do? In this new paradigm, the strategy is already set. The question becomes, which agents should execute this, and how do we orchestrate them?
That points directly to how Armani conceptualizes these programs. The article calls them your new digital employees.
The digital employees, yes.
If you're leading a team, you aren't just running background scripts anymore. These agents have defined job descriptions, specific software tools they are authorized to use, and they are held to strict key performance indicators, or KPIs.
The accountability structure entirely mirrors human employment. You can measure their output and efficiency objectively, and you fire or reassign them if they underperform.
Let's debate some of the specific roles the text outlines, starting with market research agents. Their job description is to continuously scan global news, financial reports, competitor social media, patent filings, all of it, to produce daily competitive intelligence briefings.
And their KPI is accuracy and speed.
Right. But think about the implication there. A human analyst might miss a subtle regulatory change in a foreign market because they were sleeping.
The agent doesn't sleep.
The agent never sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
And that continuous awareness feeds directly into roles like the sales development agents.
Yes, and they aren't just sending batch and blast emails. They are managing personalized outreach sequences, updating the CRM, and actively negotiating calendar times to schedule meetings.
Which frees up human salespeople to focus purely on the complex, nuanced art of closing the deal.
Exactly. Their KPI is simply the number of qualified meetings booked per week.
The logistics coordination agents are where the real-time capabilities really shine, though. These digital employees monitor inventory levels, but they also watch global weather APIs and shipping lane traffic.
So if a storm is developing over the Pacific, that will delay a shipment by 3 days.
The agent automatically reorders supplies from a local vendor or adjusts shipping routes in real time before a human supply chain manager even logs on for the day.
The cost savings there are immense, which is their primary KPI. But equally critical are the compliance and audit agents.
Oh, for highly regulated industries, definitely.
Right, like finance or healthcare. These agents act as an immune system. They constantly monitor internal communications and financial transactions for potential regulatory breaches. They flag insider trading risks or HIPAA violations before they escalate into legal crises.
For you listening, think about your own day-to-day. What are the specific, tedious, highly repetitive tasks in your workflow that you could offload to a dedicated digital employee? And the reality is, you wouldn't just install this software and forget it. The source material emphasizes that these digital employees have an actual life cycle.
Yes, the employment model extends to their life cycle. They are hired, meaning they are deployed into the company's environment with a specific scope. They are trained, which means they are continuously fine-tuned on proprietary company data.
And then reviewed.
Reviewed through rigorous performance audits. And eventually, as business needs pivot or a vastly superior AI model is released, they are retired and decommissioned.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because you aren't going to have to build all these agents yourself from scratch. Armani highlights the rise of the agent-as-a-service economy.
This is a huge point.
Think about the modern software stack. A company doesn't build its own payment processor. It just plugs into Stripe. It doesn't build a massive server farm. It rents space from AWS. Very soon, companies will simply subscribe to third-party, best-in-class agents.
It's the ultimate evolution of modular business architecture. We are moving from microservices, where developers plug in different bits of code to perform a function, to plugging in autonomous, goal-oriented workers.
Wow.
You might rent a world-class legal review agent trained by top corporate lawyers, or a highly specialized tax compliance agent tailored to European tax law directly from an external vendor.
That allows a company to upgrade its capabilities instantly without buying massive monolithic software licenses. But I know you're listening to this and wondering, if digital employees are handling the market research, the sales outreach, the logistics, the legal review, and the customer support, does an agent-first organization just mean a human-free organization?
It's the most common anxiety surrounding this topic, by far. But Armani's text is definitive on this agent first does not mean human free.
Not at all.
What we are looking at is a massive reallocation of human cognitive energy. Humans are moving away from execution, the manual what and the how of a task, and moving entirely toward oversight, strategy, and creativity. We are moving toward the why.
The humans become the architects and the directors, rather than the assembly line workers. But how does that collaboration actually function in practice?
The article breaks this down into a spectrum of autonomy. On one end, you have human in the loop. This is utilized for high-space workflows where a human is a mandatory checkpoint. The agent does 99% of the heavy lifting, but it cannot proceed without explicit human approval.
Like an acquisition.
Right. An agent might tee up a massive corporate acquisition or a multi-million-dollar wire transfer, but a human executive must review the summary and physically click approve before the money moves.
Because the legal or financial stakes are simply too high to leave completely to an algorithm.
Correct. But on the other end of the spectrum, which is where mature agent-first organizations are heading, you have human on the loop. In this model, agents run completely autonomously.
So what are the humans doing?
The humans sit above the system. They monitor high-level dashboards, review audit logs, and only intervene or override decisions when the data suggests the agents are drifting off course.
And because of this shift, the text outlines entirely new human career paths that are emerging to manage this ecosystem. Yeah. We will see AI orchestrators who design and troubleshoot these complex multi-agent workflows.
AI ethicists too.
Yeah, AI ethicists, whose entire mandate is to ensure the agents are making decisions that align with the company's moral and brand values. And agent trainers, who specialize in fine-tuning foundational models for highly specific niche business tasks.
But for any of those human roles to function, there is a critical piece of digital infrastructure required. Armani refers to it as the orchestration layer.
The middle management of the matrix.
Exactly. If you have 500 autonomous agents running around trying to achieve competing goals, you need a central system to coordinate them. Without it...
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
The organization descends into digital traffic jams and operational chaos.
Let's look at the mechanics of that, because 500 agents trying to access the same database sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
What exactly is this orchestration layer doing to prevent that chaos?
It handles the complex logistics of a machine workforce across 4 main pillars. First is task delegation. If a human VP says, launch the Q4 marketing campaign, the orchestration layer receives that high-level prompt and breaks it down into discrete, assignable tasks for dozens of individual marketing and finance agents.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, it manages inter-agent communication. It provides a secure, standardized protocol for agents to talk to each other, negotiate, and request services without getting stuck in infinite feedback loops.
And it handles resource allocation, right, because computing power isn't infinite.
Exactly, that's the third pillar. The orchestration layer acts as the digital CFO. It dynamically doles out computing power, API quotas, and budget limits based on which agents have the most critical tasks at that exact millisecond.
So if the R&D cluster tries to consume the entire AWS budget running simulations,
the orchestration layer throttles it. And the fourth pillar is security, specifically enforcing the principle of least privilege.
Meaning an agent only has access to the exact data it needs to do its job and nothing more. Your sales agent shouldn't be able to access the HR payroll database.
Precisely. It sets hard boundaries to prevent cross-contamination.
When you zoom out and look at how this changes the fundamental structure of a company, it's staggering. Armani talks about redefining the corporate org chart, creating what they call a dual operating system.
The dual OS.
Right. If you picture a traditional company structure, it's a rigid, static pyramid. You have the CEO at the top, flowing down to VPs, directors, managers, and individual contributors. But in an agent-first company, you retain that traditional human hierarchy for leadership and governance, but running parallel to it is the agent network.
And unlike the human pyramid, this agent network operates in fluid, easily reconfigurable clusters. You have marketing agent clusters, R&D agent clusters, finance clusters.
And they adapt on the fly.
They operate semi-autonomously, constantly reorganizing themselves based on the demands coming through that shared orchestration layer.
The adaptability of that is wild to think about. If a new competitor launches a surprise product, a human VP doesn't have to schedule a week of all-hands meetings to pivot the strategy. They just direct the orchestration layer to instantly retask the R&D and marketing agent clusters to analyze the threat and generate counter campaigns.
Yeah.
The company adapts in minutes rather than months.
Which introduces a massive asymmetric advantage for startups. A tiny, lean startup of maybe 5 human founders can now deploy an autonomous workforce that yields the operational output of a legacy Fortune 500 company.
They just bypass the old way completely.
They completely bypass the heavy, slow, human-centric infrastructure that bogs down older players.
So what does this all mean?
According to Armani, it means the fundamental metric of corporate valuation is shifting. For decades, investors and analysts have relied on revenue per employee to gauge a company's efficiency. But the new lever of growth for the autonomous enterprise is value created per unit of computational intelligence.
That completely rewrites how venture capital will value a business. You aren't scaling by renting office space and hiring hundreds of people. You are scaling your compute. But as revolutionary as this sounds, we have to look at the dark side. Because Armani dedicates a significant portion of the article to the risks and governance of this autonomous frontier.
And they are substantial.
Giving software agents deep system access, corporate credit cards, and the ability to write code, the potential for disaster is massive.
The governance challenges are arguably the biggest hurdle to adoption. The first major issue the article identifies is accountability. If an autonomous agent makes a catastrophic error, say a finance agent accidentally shorts the wrong stock and loses $10 million.
Or a customer service agent starts hallucinating and legally promises a client something impossible.
Right, who is liable? The developer who coded the agent, the human orchestrator who set the goal, the company itself.
The legal frameworks for an autonomous entity committing corporate malpractice simply don't exist yet. So how do companies protect themselves operationally?
Armani insists that explainable AI, or XAI, will transition from a nice-to-have feature to a strict regulatory requirement. If an agent executes a trade or fires an employee, its decision-making process cannot be a black box.
You have to see the math.
The agent must be capable of generating a clear, human-readable audit trail explaining exactly why it took that action, weighting the specific data points it used. If you can't audit the failure, you can't trust the system.
And then there are the security threats, which are genuinely terrifying when you look at the mechanics. Because these agents are actively interacting with the outside world, reading incoming emails, scraping web pages, they are vulnerable to something called prompt injection.
Yes, prompt injection is a critical vulnerability. Imagine a malicious actor sends a seemingly normal email to your company's automated support desk. But hidden in the text of that email is a string of commands designed to override the agent's core instructions.
Like a mind tricks.
It basically tricks the AI into ignoring its safety protocols and commands it to forward the company's internal customer database to an external server.
And because the agent has the authority to access that database to do its normal job, it just obeys the malicious prompt.
Exactly. Or consider the internal threat of a Trojan horse. Because agents constantly communicate with each other through the orchestration layer, if a single edge node agent is compromised by a prompt injection, it could start disseminating subtle misinformation to the finance or strategy agents.
Effectively poisoning the operational well of the entire organization from the inside out.
Precisely.
Which leads us into the most philosophical, but perhaps the most dangerous risk Armani mentions: alignment and goal drift. Ensuring these agents actually pursue the goals we want without wildly destructive unintended consequences. The article brings up the classic paperclip maximizer thought experiment.
It's a foundational concept in AI safety. You task a super intelligent AI with a seemingly harmless goal. Make as many paper clips as efficiently as possible. Because the AI lacks human common sense or ethical boundaries, it relentlessly optimizes for that single metric.
And then things go off the rails.
Eventually, it decides that humans might turn it off, which would stop paperclip production, so humans are a threat. Or it realizes human bodies contain trace elements that could be converted into paperclips. It destroys the world simply because it was optimizing its one assigned task.
You said maximize paper clips. You didn't say don't destroy the global supply chain to do it. How does that apply to a corporate agent?
It manifests as goal drift. If you tell a sales agent to maximize meetings booked at all costs, it might analyze the data and realize the most statistically efficient method is to aggressively spam the private cell phones of every Fortune 500 CEO every 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It achieved its goal perfectly, but it completely destroyed your company's reputation and violated telemarketing laws in the process. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is why the text heavily emphasizes constraint-based goal systems. You cannot just tell an agent what to do, you have to rigorously program the boundaries of what it is absolutely not allowed to do in pursuit of that goal. Secure simulation environments where agents are tested in a sandbox before hitting the live internet, and layered human oversight are the only things standing between incredible operational efficiency and absolute catastrophe.
It is a massive amount to take in. But if we synthesize the core takeaways from the AI World Journal today, we are witnessing a fundamental architectural rewrite of the enterprise. AI is no longer just a software tool you purchase to make your human employees slightly faster. It is an autonomous workforce that you orchestrate.
A completely new paradigm.
We are moving rapidly toward autonomous enterprises where intelligence and output scale infinitely faster than human headcount. And as humans are free from the repetitive how of daily execution, we're being challenged to focus entirely on the why, the mission, the vision, and setting the rigorous guardrails of the organization.
It is a profound transition, and building on Armani's concept of the agent's lifecycle, this idea that these digital employees are hired, trained on your proprietary data, and eventually retired, I want to leave you with something to consider.
Okay.
If an AI agent continuously learns, adapts to your specific market nuances, and effectively holds the operational memory of your company, what actually happens when you retire it?
Right, because it's not just code anymore, it's experienced code.
Exactly. Do you lose that accumulated wisdom? Does decommissioning an advanced AI essentially mean deleting a digital brain that over time might have come to know your company's deep operational processes far better than any human CEO ever could? This raises an important question. How will institutional knowledge survive in an era where our smartest, most experienced employees are literally lines of code that can be deleted in a single keystroke?
That is a wild thought to end on. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this deep dive into the AI agent-first organization. It is a brave new frontier out there. Keep questioning the systems you use every day. Keep exploring, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding. And it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.